Welcome back to the Journey Mindfulness Podcast. Today's episode brings together two extraordinary voices who have each walked paths that stretch far beyond the visible world and into realms of deep healing, interdimensional contact, and spiritual awakening. First, we're honored to welcome back Judy Carroll, a lifelong contactee, author, and teacher whose work has helped countless people understand the true nature of ET contact by the Greys. Judy offers a perspective grounded in compassion, galactic awareness as a dual soul, and the evolution of human consciousness. Her insights bridge the gap between the fear-based narrative of gray alien encounters and the soul, deep truth of benevolent connection. Also joining us again is Jacquelin Smith, an intuitive animal communicator, star being hybrid, healer, artist, and author who brings forward a profoundly heart-centered approach to cosmic connection and earth wisdom. Her experience with multidimensional beings and her ability to help others remember their soul star origins invite us to view life through a much more expansive lens. Together, Judy and Jacquelin offer a powerful conversation that blends wisdom, warmth, and spiritual integrity. Whether you're new to this subject or well along your awakening path, today's dialogue invites you to open your heart, stretch your perspective, and explore what it means to be truly connected beyond time, form, or species. Let's begin. Welcome, Judy and Jacquelin.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, thank you. It's wonderful to be here today.
Sure is. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. How did you two meet?
Okay. So I had the opportunity to meet Dr. R. Leo Sprinkle at the International UFO Congress a number of years ago. And I just really resonated with, what he was talking about in his work. So I decided to go to Laramie, Wyoming, where Dr. Sprinkle lives. And he is a researcher. He is the pioneer researcher working with contactees as well as past lives. So I flew out there and spent a week with him. There were some memories I wanted to uncover with him. And so one of the main memories was when I was about 5 or 6 years old, that we had a tornado come through my neighborhood. And so the star beings took me out of my bed and onto the ship. And I wanted to know more about that experience when I went back onto the ship. And so Leo said, we were kind of talking back and forth and writing letters and that. And he said, "You've got to meet Judy Carroll." And he said, "You two have so much in common. And I just know you're going to resonate." So he introduced us. And the first time Judy and I saw each other and connected, we had these two screens that are exactly the same and actually reminded us of home from where we came from. So we had an immediate connection. And I will forever be grateful to Leo for introducing us. So that's kind of how we got connected and have been communicating ever since.
It's super fascinating. For those that don't know, yeah, that you just randomly have, or maybe not randomly, there are perhaps no coincidences, but this same background. It's fascinating. Now, what year was this?
Oh my gosh. This was probably, I'm thinking around 2013 or 2014.
Okay.
I was trying to think the other day too. I think it was 2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which
So
makes
it
sense.
was a video call that you spoke on and saw the screens and just had that moment of connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jacquelin also has a little cabinet down to the side there, down to her right-hand side, that I have exactly the same cabinet. So there's two things.
So what made Dr. Sprinkle, is it Dr. Sprinkle?
Yes.
What made him connect you to? What about your stories? Because he worked with a number of contactees that he felt that you two should connect.
Well, he felt, with some of my experience with my star family, he felt that Judy and I had a lot in common, that we would resonate with each other and had some similar experiences. And so, and Leo was very intuitive. And he just went one day to me, he goes, "You got to meet Judy, Carroll."
Yeah, that would make sense to me that he was intuitive and could put that together.
Very, very, very intuitive man.
Yeah.
He's actually mentioned, I think, a couple of times that it was his job down here to connect ET people who are down here in Earth human form. I think it was part of his job.
Yeah, it was. And I had one of the very first conferences of contactees. So he was a true pioneer in that sense and really opened that door, for so many people to be supported in their experiences.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to give him his due because, what that work is so important as we evolve this topic, and more people learn more about kind of what's going on in the world and in the universe. So it's, and obviously you two are playing a very important part in all of that as well.
Yeah, thank you. And then Judy and I discovered, and jump in anytime, is that we were actually siblings, star being siblings in another lifetime, and we just knew each other's traits.
We still react with each other exactly the same way as we did back then.
React. and so it's just been delightful to uncover that and still uncover that with Judy. And as star beings, I mean, we just have that very close connection as brother. I'm going to say brother and sister. I lean more toward male because, that many of the races are androgynous, but I lean more toward male and Judy lean more toward female. And so we came from a place where it was beautiful, oceans, palm trees, which Judy and I love, beaches, and we loved our home. In fact, our screens that you're looking at remind us of our home because we use natural materials in our where we come from. So Judy and I will often talk about, we'll kid around and say, I'll say to Judy, "Oh my gosh, I miss the beach we were on. I miss those palm trees. I miss our conversation. I used to talk about star maps a lot." And Judy would say to me as my sister, "We're here to enjoy all this, and let's have fun." And I was busy trying to talk about star maps and things like that.
So what planet was this, or what were you the same species at this time, or what was that like?
Yeah, we were actually a hybrid species in the Arcturian system. We were half Arcturian, half Zeta. and that we're referred to as blue-grey Arcturians. So we look like Zetas, but we had a blue-grey colouring to our skin. My sibling Xantu Kai, which was Jacquelin's name, he actually had more Arcturian in his makeup, and I had more Zeta, which means Xantu Kai could retract his thumb, so that he could either be a 3-fingered or a 4-fingered being, and I couldn't do this. And it used to really annoy me. So he used to tease me all the time. Look, I can do this and you can't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and people don't understand, or they might not understand, that star beings have emotions and that we have a great sense of humor and play, so I would just like pop my thumb in and out in front of her. And so yeah, she got pretty annoyed, but
right under my nose.
but we just knew. If you would have heard us, our whole conversation was like we already knew each other. We're just talking from, we were here but picking up from where we were at. It was quite amazing.
Yeah, what was that like for you emotionally to meet someone else that you had shared all of these experiences with?
For me, it was very emotional and meant a great deal to me, to have that connection and support, as a star being, that we understood each other in a way that I think is pretty unique.
Yes. Same with me. Until I linked back with my sibling, I felt very alone down here. We think in a slightly different way from how people who think down here. So it's very hard for us to fit in. I had a terrible time at school trying to fit in, for example. And meeting up with one of my own people just meant so much. It just gave me a lot more, how can I say, support and self-awareness, etc., which helped me in turn to be able to do interviews like this and talk about my work and my books and things. It's just so much support.
Yeah, it just seemed like that would be very pivotal to know that you have someone who could kind of have your back with what you were talking about.
Yes. Yeah, this is not an easy planet to work on. We often make jokes, phone home. It's one of the most difficult planets, I think, in the whole universe, with all the warlike way people go on, and it's so polarized down here, so very polarized, as opposed to oneness, which we were brought up in our last life. We were very much into oneness, and so to be able to find that in another person down here is really lovely.
Yeah, very difficult to understand why war. It makes no sense, and it's just a challenge when you come from a place of unconditional love, and then you come into a human body. It's quite an adjustment, and it's taken me a long time to understand society, period, just in terms of how it functions, and things like that. So it's still strange to me.
I think you're not alone.
Yes, right, James. Yeah.
Now, you said Dr. Sprinkle, perhaps part of his mission was bringing contactees together, and in particular you two together. How do you see your mission here, and how has that evolved since you found each other?
Well, I know my mission. I was told right back in 1983 in a full-on daytime encounter with my grey family that I was to teach. and which was very confronting back then because they wanted me to teach things like Tai Chi and Reiki, you know, all the energy things. And I come from a professional dancer background, and I was actually trying to learn to meditate, but I'd never even heard of Reiki and Tai Chi back then. It wasn't even known here in Australia. So they told me that I would have to move back into the city and I would have years of study ahead of me. And this is exactly what happened. It all happened exactly as they told me. And so that's what my work is down here, to work as I teach Tai Chi. I have been teaching Reiki. I'm not doing it at the moment, but I certainly do Reiki. So working with energy. And through these interviews, I can communicate with Earth people to explain more about energy, which is a real missing link down here. They don't understand the importance of energy and the fact that we have an energy body. The physical body is only a very small part of us. And I think, Jacquelin, you do the same thing through your work, don't you?
Yes, exactly. To support people and understanding that we are soul, and also that, you know, a lot of my work is helping people get connected to their star families and understand that we are cosmic citizens and that we are much more than, you know, we think we are, or what humans have, you know, taught people that they are. So I've been doing work with animals psychically for, oh my gosh, well, most of my life. But the star beings came to me many years ago, and they said, you know, you're going to start working with people, and you're going to start, you know, I had lots of star beings coming in, communicating with me. You're going to start working with people about, you know, we could call it ascension, whatever you want to call it. And at that moment, I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm sticking with the animals. And they said, my star family said, no, you're going to be shifting. And it exactly, that's what happened. And so a lot of my work is helping people to understand their experiences, to get connected to their star families. I do a lot of work with the light language too, with people to, you know, the light languages and the star languages, because I speak many star languages, which I love. And so that helps people to get connected and hear their families and hear where they come from, how they speak vibrationally. So, yeah.
I came across someone not too long ago who was nervous or anxious about light language, you know, and how it's getting communicated and not being able to maybe discern whether or not it was, I want to say good or bad or accurate or whatnot. What might you say to that? Because I didn't have a good response to it.
Well, there are many different light languages, and I include the star languages with that. And so when someone brings light language through, it's like more than speaking light. You embody it and just share it. It is, in a way, sacred geometry. It is the voice of the creator. But the star beings have, each of them have their own frequencies and vibration, and that's what I bring through. Arcturians are different than the Zetas when I speak those. And so with also with discerning, I always like to just share with people, how does it feel to you? I mean, light language does clear energy out for people, and they might feel kind of uncomfortable a little, but in their hearts, if it doesn't feel loving, heart-centered, then I just recommend, you know, that they listen to a different light language in that way, because being discerning is very, very important. with all that's coming in, there's so much going on, and some interdimensional beings kind of doing their shenanigans, with kind of trying to play, throw us off track perhaps. But I always connect with the most highly evolved beings to bring through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually asked my great teacher Maris about that long ago, because there's a lot of messages being put out, whether they're in light language or just our own languages that we speak, and sometimes it is hard to discern whether they're positive or negative. And he said, don't so much listen to the words or read the words. He said, feel into the energy behind it. And I find that that's the way to go, whether it's light language or what, just feel into the energy. And this is a really important message for Earth humans to learn to do, to feel into the energy.
Yes.
Sensing it.
Hi, I'm James O'Neill, therapist, mindfulness teacher, and founder of Journey Mindfulness. If you're going through anxiety, life transitions, or just feeling called to grow and learn more about higher consciousness, I help people motivated for change reconnect with their true self through mindfulness, hypnosis, and deep transformational work. If this speaks to you, please like, subscribe, share, and/or comment, and consider supporting the show with a donation. Your presence here means more than you know. Thank you for being part of the journey. Yes. Yeah. Judy, what could you tell us? You said your mission being a teacher here. What could you tell us about the human ladder?
Yes, the human ladder was a teaching given to me and a friend, my co-author Helene Kay, back in 2001, when we connected with a teacher by the name of Auris, who was visiting their family. And what Auris explained was the human ladder is a cycle of evolution through the universe of 10 levels. And each level is a deepening as you go up the levels, evolve through the levels. It's a deepening and expanding of your conscious awareness. So it's all to do with the amount of consciousness you can tap into. Now, this is also intrinsically linked into the DNA, how much DNA we have active. Now, planet Earth, for example, is on level 1. So your average Earth human is able to access about 10% of their potential consciousness, whereas level 10, those who are resonating there, can access their full conscious awareness 100%. Coming back to planet Earth, when science talks about junk DNA, this is the other 90% or so of our DNA that we haven't had activated yet. And this is why we can only access 10% of our potential conscious awareness. So it's basically, it's evolution. It's a path of evolution for humans through the universe, opening up to deeper and deeper levels of conscious awareness. And in actual fact, even though we're consciously aware of being on level 1 here, our soul spans the whole human ladder. And so what self-realization is about is, again, opening up to more and more higher levels of conscious awareness, so that we're opening up more and more to our soul, because our soul is the God part of us. So, and the oneness part. So it's coming back to oneness.
You hear these things and you try to absorb all of it. So when you were, you and Jacquelin were siblings, where were you? Is the human ladder just a human evolution? Like you were in a different time and space when you guys were together?
Yes, we would have been on a higher level of the ladder.
Okay.
So we would have had more consciousness. And this is one of the reasons why we find it very hard down here, because, we have less conscious awareness than we would have had then.
Okay. Well, we are, do you see us opening up more? Does it seem like more people are starting to awaken?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I mean, this is what evolution in the human kingdom is about. And yes, more and more as we shift from fourth world consciousness to fifth world consciousness, that's what that's about. The average Earth human is starting to open up to level 2, 20% of their conscious awareness, which will give them a lot more psychic abilities and make them basically geniuses compared to how we are now. So
how do we get there? How do I get in that crowd?
Well, it's a natural path of evolution, but how you help it along is opening up to spiritual understanding, having a spiritual practice of some sort, which in turn helps to open up your consciousness. It's all tied in. Consciousness and spirituality are totally linked in hand. So by opening up to spirituality, you're opening up to more consciousness. This is why I was told to teach Tai Chi and Reiki, because they're things that people can do to help to open up more of their consciousness.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people to know, is that there are practices out there that you can, embody and do to help this process.
Yes, and to understand we're way more than just a physical body. The physical body is such a tiny, tiny component of the whole thing.
Okay. So
yeah, and if I might add, also, what's wonderful about what's going on now is that with all the shifts in energy, the junk DNA is now opening, so people are now accessing their natural gifts of like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, intuition, and also light language opens those doors for people to grow in consciousness, because I'm in speaking the light, it's speaking to the cells in the body, it's speaking to the blueprint, it's speaking to the soul, it's speaking, and all those aspects understand the energy. And the great thing about light language is it bypasses the mind ego and does its work with the soul, does its work with the blueprint. So that is really starting to open people globally in really big ways.
Yeah.
Along with what Judy said, it all works together.
Yeah, the genuine crop circles work the same way. They're symbols, like the Reiki symbols do the same thing.
Right, and the light language symbols too. Yeah, it all works together. Yeah.
I think there's been some new crop circles coming up recently too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really been following them, but somebody sent me one the other day that was very interesting. Have you, Jacquelin? I haven't really been following them.
Yeah, I just saw one recently, and well, there were a couple, and one person said it really looked like light language around the crop circle, but I haven't had time to delve into it more deeply. But the crop circles, they have all that energy of the symbols in the crop circles that's moving not only into the earth but over the earth as well, to help awaken people. I mean, someone can just look at a crop circle, not know anything about it, but it can still shift them or open them in some way.
I have recently, someone shared one, and I tried to sort of meditate on it and see what I felt from it, see if I could intuit. It was a very interesting experience. I had never even thought about doing that before, but that's interesting that you talked about light language and just how you can feel into that. It's very interesting. Jacquelin, could you educate our viewers about the hybridization program and evolution?
Yeah, well, it's a huge subject, but
well, just the overview, maybe
a couple basics, but so I guess with myself being a hybrid and the many other hybrids on Earth, in that is that we really are bridges, and that we are here to help humanity evolve with the evolutionary process. And with the hybridization program, the hybrid children, who I have many hybrid children, and I've also worked with hybrid children on the starships that I was on when I was very young and played with the hybrid children and interacted with them. I absolutely loved them. And so they play a very important role in evolution because their DNA there is star being DNA combined with human DNA. And so some of those star children, they're integrating more onto Earth in order to help humanity evolve. Some of the others stay on the ship, the hybrid children, where they will actually go into other galaxies and they can educate other star beings a little about humanity because they have that human DNA in them as well as the star being DNA. And some of the hybrids have more human DNA, some have more star beings. So it's a vast spectrum of beings, and I just see it all for the sake of the evolutionary process, for diversity, for continual spiritual expansion for all of us, for them as well as us.
Yeah, I had Mary Rodwell on, and she talked about the indigo children and just how incredible they are, and the stories that are coming through these children at such a young age and kind of how advanced they are. It's just truly extraordinary.
Yeah, apparently a third DNA branch has opened up in some of them. Scientists have discovered it. A third strand.
I mean, I've met some kids that it blows my mind how they can perceive the world and, I mean, past lives, but energy and see beings, and just they come in with this wisdom that is, it just seems ancient. You know, you're talking to a young child, but they're clearly wiser beyond their biological years.
And they're coming in more conscious now with those who they are, and those memories, where we came in under more of a veil, so we've kind of had a tougher time with that. But the children coming in now, they're just coming in. Well, there was a little girl who, connected with her parents now. Well, she's about 6 years old. I came from Venus. My starship crashed on Earth. This is what happened to the ship. I'm here to do blah, 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 blah. They are coming in knowing their missions because we really need that here.
Yeah.
I've actually to be that expedited, pace to it.
Yeah.
All right, Judy, go ahead.
Yeah. I've actually been told to write a book, a kids' book, children's book, and it's in the process actually now of being published, specifically for the star kids, for those ones who maybe haven't awakened quite as much. And I'm calling it a Zeta mission, Alaka and Ashgar's awesome adventures on planet Earth. So I'll be starting to really push that once it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's important information. It does seem to me, at least in the kind of current zeitgeist of things, people are starting to open up, like, okay, yes, there's something going on. There's ships, there's other life. We already have a space program. Maybe there's a secret space program. Maybe there's these other things that are going on. And, it's people are asking questions, right? They're being driven by this curiosity. And so it's starting to connect more dots for people. And so that's why, it's honestly why I think it's so important to get, your voices out there, is because it's one that is rooted in love for each other and in our planet, in our world. And that doesn't always get communicated with some of the voices in the media.
That's right. That's for sure. It's all about love. That's the bottom line.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Unconditional love.
Well, We kind of got to the main point there, but let's talk about kind of your experiences with, I know, Jacquelin, you kind of were curious about, like, how is consciousness different from the human brain? Or what have Star beings shared with you about consciousness? And this is for both of you.
Yeah, I'll go first because I actually got a teaching on this just recently. What they said to do is to compare our brain in our body, our physical brain, with our physical lungs. Air is all around us, but we can only access as much air as our lungs are capable of accessing. Consciousness is all around us, and we can only access as much as our physical brain is able to access.
Mm.
So this is why, while we're in physical form on Earth, we find it very hard to access more than 10% of our potential consciousness, but it's all around there. And people who have the experience of leaving their body, or a near-death experience, for example, are often aware of having much, much more conscious awareness than they do when they're in the body down here. I know Jacquelin will say the same thing. When we're up on the ship, we're a lot more conscious. And you come back down here and you can't remember a lot of it. It's very frustrating.
Mm. So what about, like, being a dual soul, Judy? Like, in terms of your accessing consciousness, is it different for someone like you because you've had all these experiences?
Yes, it is, because I have conscious experience of being up on the ship as clear as when I'm down here. I don't feel any different. I realise Jacquelin would be a dual soul too. We don't feel any different when we're up there as working as greys than we do down here working as humans. And I have clear memories of this. So, I'm talking from experience here.
Could you define dual soul for those that don't know?
Dual soul, before we're born, we tune into whichever culture we are planning to be born into in our next life. And for most people, they will plan, okay, I'm going to be an Earth human, or I'm going to be a Zeta Arcturian, or whatever. And that's what they will connect with energetically. Those of us who have come here as ambassadors have tuned into two collective consciousnesses before birth. So in our case, it was Earth human and grey. And that way we can consciously recall experiences in both cultures.
Yeah.
So fascinating. Jacquelin, anything you would like to add to that?
Well, yeah, I totally agree with Judy. And my experience from what the star beings have shared with me too about consciousness is fundamental, and that everything is conscious, but it in their own way. So humanity has their consciousness, but animals and plants, Mother Earth, they are conscious, but we can't really compare them because it's just in a whole different vibrational way. And that the brain is beautiful in that it helps us process our sensory experiences and information. And so when I communicate, like with animals, they communicate energetically. They're not they're not speaking English to me. And my brain and my consciousness is able to translate, share with that animal's person what the animal's wanting, or the star being is wanting to communicate with that person. So for me, I came in with that. That's just really natural for me. Actually, it's more natural for me than speaking words here on Earth. It's much more natural for me to be telepathic and to speak these languages since I grew up on a ship, on a starship. So, but I think that everything has consciousness, but humanity is still growing in the sense into their potential of consciousness, how much they can be aware of. And we grow, and, I've had 3 near-death experiences, so I was like, what the heck, but it's like, but finally what I learned from that and was told is it's all initiations in order to grow in consciousness.
It does seem to have that effect with the near, it breaks something open in people, and they open up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that, again, we are, at this point, I do think humanity is really opening more and more to their consciousness and actually to how wonderful their brains are. The brain is physical. And like Judy said, the consciousness is always around us, and we can access it or not. I mean, there's layers and layers that I see interdimensionally. I just see layers and layers and layers of dimensions where there are different beings. I see all kinds of light language symbols. That's there for everybody all the time when they're ready.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. You have been sharing your message for a while, and it's there for anyone that is ready to hear it. But it's always fascinating to me when I try to look for certain things, and then all of a sudden I find something. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's been saying this thing forever. How did I miss it? It was right there. And it wasn't in my awareness. And it's funny, as a mindfulness teacher, it's like, when you're sometimes you're just not ready to hear it, and then finally you are, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it was right in front of me the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's all here and now. That's the thing, in the greater reality, there's no time, no space. It's all here and now, but it's our ability to be able to access it.
Yes.
I know, it's so hard to wrap your head around that, though, Judy. Okay, so we all feel that people are awakening and expanding in consciousness more. What you kind of talked about a few things already, but what could we do to expand our creativity or empower ourselves and raise our vibrations?
Or I think take up a spiritual practice of some sort. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Jacquelin? I think that's...
Yeah, I think that's really good. I mean, like meditation or Tai Chi, or, something that gives a consistency, or working with toning, or, whatever that person resonates with. And I think in a basic way, also, what raises our frequencies naturally is, first of all, laughter, and singing, listening to music, walking in the woods, touching trees and flowers, playing with an animal like a dog or a cat or whatever that animal might be. And also, I think to walk on the earth, the touch earth, and just feel her love for us, and act like a kid, run around in the grass, and do something fun, walk in the mud, and light language also, which I do consider a spiritual sort of practice. I speak light language every day. And I agree with Judy that, there's some great practices like Tai Chi, and others. Again, I think whatever the person resonates with for them, I think can really lift their vibrations.
Jacquelin, you said you speak it every day. Is it like a ritual, like a practice, like, or is it like a channeling or what?
I just kind of walk around speaking it a lot.
Yeah.
During the day. Sometimes I know if there's a star being speaking to me, I can hear them speaking to me in star language, and then I might start speaking back. But I talk to the trees in light language because they're light and they have their own language of light. So I can hear them speaking to me as well. So each being has their own energetic expression of light and love. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, what was communicated to me from a channeler, so a Assyrian a collective, I suppose, but they said, one of the best things you can do is get some vitamin N, go out in nature. Just being, go exactly what you said, walk barefoot, ground yourself, hug a tree, play, laugh, frolic around, but just, that we're talking about consciousness, but I'm sure, some people will know, but the earth is conscious.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything is.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. Everything is. And it really is wonderful. I'm constantly communicating when I go out for a walk, I'm communicating with all these, everything that I see, trees, flowers, all these beings. Judy and I love flowers. And so I'm always communicating and listening to them sing. They sing. Yeah. It's just amazing. I'm in awe all the time of nature and trees I visit every day when I go out walking in the summer. They're my friends. They're my teachers. They teach me things all the time. If I'm having a day where I'm not feeling very well, just feeling kind of crappy about life or something, I'll lay my back against the tree and I'll just put my arms out and they'll just fill me with their love and remind me what a beautiful soul I am, to uplift me, and to remind me that they're my friends. We're all connected. And the trees have a lot to teach. So do the flowers. And all of nature does.
Yeah.
And it's all, even in cities, there are spaces for that, but that it's around us and we can access it. It's not, not far away from us typically.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful. So what stories can you share, or would you be willing to share some of the fun things that you learned on these ships? For those that are so curious, I want to know, what is it like?
I'm going to let you start.
How about the little being that I collected on that planet that started expanding?
Would you like to tell that story?
You can tell it.
There you go.
we used to go out to different planets when we were in our last grey life. We used to go to different planets and collect little beings and things. We'd always get their permission first. We wouldn't just take them, so we could bring them back and study them. And I found this fascinating little thing on one planet, tiny little thing, and I thought, oh, this would be an interesting one to take back and study. So I took it onto the ship, and it must have started panicking or something, and it started expanding. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger and started putting out this awful smell. And Zantukai had to turn the ship around to take it back because we just couldn't handle the smell, and it was just starting to fill the whole ship. Can you add anything to that?
Yeah,
I'm too embarrassed to go any further.
No, you're fine. That's why I wanted you to start. Anyway, but yeah, so I was Zantukai. And so yeah, so with Judy being
Lorca.
Yeah. I was just gonna say my sister in that life that that she was what's the word, inquisitive, like to
curious, no?
Curious and all that anyway. So yeah, so we had to turn the ship around. I was commander of the ship at that time. And so we had to turn the ship around and take the being back because it was so bad, and all the crew members were just like, what is your sister done? And so we had to take that being back to the planet, drop it off, and yeah. So being brother and sister, we had that kind of relationship. Even
what was going on with the being?
I think it thought it wanted to come, but when we started taking it back and away from its home environment, it started panicking.
Yeah.
Like a
and that was the way it responded. Yeah.
But sometimes Judy would want to bring things on a ship that I wasn't particularly wild about her bringing.
Yeah, I think you had a feeling something like that was going to happen, didn't you? With that one, I think you weren't real happy about me bringing that one on board, so I snuck it. No. Yeah, I snuck it on board. And I could because it was small, so I could get it on board without you knowing.
No, so Aloka, I mean, we just we had to set some new boundaries and work together a little differently.
And it took ages to get the smell out of the ship.
Huh? Yes. Yeah. So, but we were very close. Lorca and I were very, very, very close. And, yeah.
You said you were the commander of the ship. How did you control the ship psychically with your mind, or how did that work?
Well, yeah, the ship has consciousness, and so all of us we would join our consciousness together and be as one with the ship. And that way, you know, we could go and be wherever we wanted to with being aligned as one energetically with that consciousness, and we could jump into whatever dimension we wanted to jump in or out of. And so, but it was, you know, not just me, it's everybody on the ship has to be aligned in one. And yeah, we all did that well until that poor being came on the ship. So, but anyway, it's a fun story. And
so I can actually remember, I don't know if you can remember this, Jacquelin, but I remember before we set off anywhere, we used to do it like a dance type practice, almost like Tai Chi now, to bring us all into oneness, to enable us to operate the ship.
Yeah. We would just bring all of our consciousness together and unify. Yeah. So sounds pretty wild, but it really is true. And hopefully it will, you know, help everybody understand that the star beings, again, do have emotions and relationships. They have families and children. You know, humanity is not the only species that does that.
Yeah.
I was curious as you're telling the story. You're like, well, we had to set some boundaries. Are there start being therapists?
Well, it was basically me talking to my sister. So, just to get some clarity.
Yeah, we still get away with what we can get away with.
Yeah.
And then when you were on ship together, were you just exploring the universe? Like, what were you guys doing?
We used to go out and collect specimens because the Greys specialize in adapting different types of beings and creatures to different planetary environments. Now, for example, when animals down here become extinct, we make sure that we have their DNA so that they can be reproduced and adapted elsewhere, so that if they need to continue evolving, they can. And that was work we specialised in. We used to travel around sort of carrying out the scientific work, collecting DNA, and we'd bring some back and adapt them to our environment or adapt them to wherever they needed to be. So it was like an adaptation of creatures and studying their ecology.
That's super interesting because Jacquelin, when you talk about the mantis beings, my understanding is they're master geneticists, and so there's different roles that these species or beings are playing.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And it's beautiful because they all know what their mission is, and working together with that harmony. Like when I was on the ship as a child, I got to see, and when Judy and I were on that ship, everyone just works in harmony. Everyone knows what their role is and how to fit in. So when I was on the ship as a child, there were mantis beings, there were Arcturians, there were Venusians, which were plant-like beings. Tall white Zeta masters, which were my parents then, in this life. And they all knew what their roles were. And it just was perfect harmony. It was amazing. It was amazing.
So interesting. It's just hard to comprehend how, at some point we're going to evolve in that sort of sense where we get along in that way, or we're not fighting each other, trying to figure out or one up each other in some sense. That there's this harmony and working together to, advance the universe.
Yeah. And that's why we're trying to, as bridges here, trying to support in the spiritual evolutionary process. It's not only, physically the DNA shifting and all of that, but it's about the heart. And it makes me very emotional when I talk about it, but it is about the heart and the evolution spiritually of remembering that we are love and light.
Yeah, planet Earth is one of the most polarized planets in the whole universe, and the polarization comes out of love or fear. That's the choice you've got to make, and we're being tested continuously. Do we choose love or do we choose fear?
Correct. Yeah.
And when we talk about fear, we're not talking about being scared of falling off a cliff or something. It's not that. It's racism, religious intolerance, fear of anyone who looks different to us, the old herd instinct. Yeah. That's what we've got to overcome.
Yes.
Well, listening to you talk about it, just the different races, the Arcturians, the Zetas, the tall white, or the was it the tall white Arcturians?
Tall white Zeta masters.
Tall white Zeta masters. But the harmony that among all of them, they seem to coexist in.
It really is. It is hard to put into words, and it moves me every time I think of it. When I was on the ship a lot as a child, and that's why I never wanted to come back to Earth. I just want to stay on the ship. It's like, do I really have to go back there? But yeah, you've got work to do there. So here we are, and we did agree.
Yes, we did. Silly of us, but we did. I remember being up on the ship once, and I had to come back. And honestly, I was doing that pussycat star jump in the door. They were literally trying to push me off. I was crying my eyes out. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. And one of the little greys was saying, "You've got to go back. You cannot stay here. You've got to go."
Well,
do you remember that, Judy?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We also remember we were talking about it once, Jacquelin, working up on the ship, and how upset we get when we have Earth humans there who are crying and screaming and terrified. And we can't get through to them telepathically because they're so much in fear, they've closed themselves off like in a cocoon. And we're trying to get through telepathically to tell them to calm down, it's okay, we're only going to help you, we're not here to hurt you. And it upsets us. Some of our people have to leave the clinic. We get so upset by it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like, because from the human perspective, the human mind, in that they're in fear because they don't really understand what's going on, and that we are trying to help them. They see it as we're trying to hurt them somehow. That isn't the case in our instance. We're talking about our race. I can't talk about all races because there's the full spectrum, but from our race and our experience on the ship, like trying to comfort them in that, it's very hard because the ego, doesn't like anything unfamiliar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It goes in, it gets very scary.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note, of all the things that we get shown about, just that there is this tremendous love and compassion for humanity and what we're going through. And it's very different than the alien invasion, stay in fear and allow this I don't know, totalitarianism to kind of control us. It's like it's far more loving and empowering, and I just really want to highlight that and appreciate you sharing the tremendous amount of love. I mean, for people watching this, I would imagine you could feel it, and also the energy coming through. There is an energetic transmission being had between all of us right now.
You could feel it, can't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. What do you feel like people need to know, like that you could add in this communication?
You got anything, Jacquelin, you want to put in?
I think if people can remember to live from the heart, to me, that's always the bottom line, to live from the heart. And the star beings have always told me this, to live from the heart, to keep things simple. We're all one. And that I've been teaching that for over 40 years in my classes with animal communication, as well as with the star being work as well. And I think that's very bottom line, because when it comes down to it, when all of us drop, if we have forms or not forms or whatever, we're all one.
Yes, that's the key to the whole thing. We are one.
All one. We're all love and light. And that's the truth. That's the bottom line truth, whether it be a star being, human, cat, dog, tree. We're all one.
And we all have the God essence within us. We're not a earth human with a soul floating around somewhere. We are a soul undergoing a human life experience. We are a soul. If we can understand that we are a soul and that soul is God. God's not an old man up on a cloud. God's within all of us. God is an energy. If we can just take that on board fully, we are fully protected. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, we're an expression of the creator. Yeah.
Yes, we're all expressions of the creator.
Yeah.
Jacquelin, would you be willing to share some light language?
Oh, I would be honored. Yeah.
Okay.
I would love
Yeah,
to. It's always fun.
yeah, no, I think it would be very, very neat to hear if you could.
Okay, sure. Lokola kale ita mahasukula, mutura lale ita lanakata ita rosuta, shakula mokora kaleita, nohota mahala kale naha, usu amala, iya nanana ko yatara kotera kalika, loza I uanaka, mikila kakaya, makaya kai kai makalela tutua niki la kalea kota en la hai musuka la kaya natai ki ia no na nei I zokula mahi kilio kotomaha mahosili kolo kone ilo kake nanta kokia noko ala kiona ila kalalota na. Wow. So I can just feel the energy flowing out and hope you can. That's actually like a blessing and just really expressing the heart energy. And this is coming from where Judy and I came from.
Oh,
From, nice. Yeah, from the grays, you know, the kind of the mix of Arcturian gray, or so it's like that's really wonderful that came through, and just reminding us again, anyone who would listen to this is opening the third eye some, as well as opening the throat and opening the heart if they choose to receive, and so I think people will probably feel that wonderful energy.
Well, thank you
Beautiful.
so much for sharing that. That's really lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, Judy, you'd like to add before we wrap this communication up?
Yes, look, a message that we were given years ago by our teachers, and it sums up what we're trying to teach. To understand our universe in terms of oneness, to understand our universe in terms of energy, and to understand ourselves in terms of oneness and energy, thus enabling us to choose love over fear.
Beautiful. And Judy, where can people find you, your work? If you have a copy of your book, I can put links in the show notes. Anything that you would like to share?
Yes, all my books are available on Amazon, so they can get them there. Some of them are hard copies and some are in ebook form. I'm also on Facebook. Our page is the Zeta Message on Facebook, so they can go in there and check us out. We also have a YouTube channel. I just love YouTube.
That's the name of your podcast, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Which is beautiful. It is always loving.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Jacquelin, I think you have a workshop coming up and some other things.
Well, yes, I just did a workshop last weekend on teaching people how to communicate with star beings, which was really fun. And then I'm going to be on a light language panel in September. And I will be sharing that if people want to check at my website and subscribe to me. I send out a newsletter. And then I'll be teaching another workshop in October possibly on the mantis beings.
Yeah.
And maybe one in between there. So my website is www.jacquelinsmith.com. And, I have free light language samples and downloads that people can do, a free ebook on mantises, and lots of information about the sessions I do, the star being work I do with people and experiencers, and light language as well. And I also have a YouTube. If they go to my website, they can find that as well, and Facebook and all of that. So
great. Yeah, I see a little mantis being next to you and some of your light language art in your book.
Yes. My book, Star Being in the Mirror.
Yeah, which is
My
great.
latest book, and hopefully, my intention in writing was to support people with their experiences and to kind of help bring in a new paradigm.
Yeah.
Not fear, but most of my experiences were really wonderful, and to share those.
Jacquelin, may I ask what kind of pendant you're wearing? What stone is that?
Yes, this is a moonstone.
Okay.
And I just love it. I just recently got it, and I knew I was supposed to wear it tonight, and I felt like it's just perfect. We just had the new moon yesterday, and it just has lovely feminine energy and just expansive energy. So
That's great.
yeah.
Well, it's very beautiful. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else you want to add before we wrap up here? This is like such a cool thing to have. I mean, like you have one of the most extraordinary stories I've ever heard, and it's, to have you together, sharing these things it's truly wonderful.
It's great fun.
Yeah.
I meant to mention too, I've got a website, ufograyinfo.com.
Okay, and I will
E.
link to these things as well, for sure.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
It's been lovely.
Yeah, this has been really, really fun.
Well, thank you for sharing this love, this communication, this energy, and this co-creation, this transmission. These topics are important as our evolution is progressing, and it's important to know that your voices are out there sharing truth, to help dispel fear and to bring in a new era of love. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having us, James.
Yeah, thank you, James.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Same to you. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and being with us. May you find joy, flow, and adventure on your journey. And if you got something from it, please like, share, and subscribe and or comment. It means a lot. Thank you.